So good morning, everybody. Please let me know if you are able to hear me clearly.
Yes, ma'am.
So it is nice to see on a weekend coming across. So we'll wait for 1 or 2 more minutes because this is a dedicated session only for the people who were not able to attend last week, because we thought we have extended the number of participants in our license, but it was not able to do it. So this is mainly for all of you to have a repeat. So I'm assuming all of you are safe and sound and healthy and enjoying as the things are going good. So even though I don't track nothing, I do much because I believe it's ignorance is bliss sometimes. But Anil being a fund manager, he's been doing, of course, they have to keep tracking micro and macro level economics and other parameters. So he was trying to tell that any countries, whenever the second waves comes, has gone peak, and when they go down, then extremely it has gone down. And in India and Karnataka also, they are doing quite good. So it's a good news to do quite drastically changing the parameters, and all are doing good. So let me start. If they come, we can share it a little later. So good morning, everybody. I am Rachna Lego. I am a director of Right Horizons, and I always love to train people, and our intentions are always how to make sure people are able to achieve their financial freedom. Okay, and financial freedom is definition of different things. So I just thought, let me ask you all people what you feel or what comes in your mind when you talk about financial freedom, or what comes in your mind if somebody asks what money means to you. So if anybody can like to unmute and reply, it will be great. Or if you can wanted to write it in a chat, it is fair enough. So what comes in your mind when I say, okay, I'm a financially free, or what makes in your mind that, okay, what money means to you? What comes in first thing in your mind? So please let me share your own thoughts. I am not seeing any of the chats. If somebody has written. So as on today, I am not able to see. So it's like a school, no? We always feel that the person who are understood all the questions or not understood the questions who replies. So I'm assuming you all understood, don't wanted to reply. So this is a question I was asking. Most of in our financial planning, we ask the question, what makes you think, what you mean by money? So a lot of different questions and answers comes. So this question I was asking my son. He's 14 years old now, or this month he's going to become 14. So he told the same thing. Money means, mama, only to get a good, nice food, get a good vacations, and get the good car. Okay. So I said, that's nice. That's the money means to you. So yesterday it was happening. My daughter is now 19 and they are working in some internship, and she was asking this question to me, what money means to you? So I was telling, oh, you have grown up. So what money means to you? So the definition from me, what money means is that you don't have to worry about day to day, whatever your lifestyle, you have enough to have an alternative income. So when you have an alternative income, and that doesn't impact even it is a pandemic or it is a war or it is a market up or down, your lifestyles continue. Okay. That is the best part of what money means. So for me, the money doesn't mean that I should have 2 crore in my account or 5 crore in a portfolio or something like that. My understanding is, and thank God for mercies, that I never have to think about that my day-to-day life and all goals will be achievable or not. Because we have planned, it is done, and it is being made sure that whatever happens, whatever the calamities happens, we will be able to sustain our same lifestyle. Okay. That is the difference between the financial freedom and financial awareness. So even though I keep focusing on the financial awareness every Saturdays, but my intention is always in my mind, even one person implement that awareness into the execution throughout the life, that person will be very, very happy that because of it, I started initiation. And this is what it happens. I think so. I was doing a learning session in our office. We normally have a stand up and learning session. So I was doing last week. One of my customer, okay, has come and told me. It was around 8:30, 8:45. She called me, and normally customer doesn't call me at 8. They are very passive based customers, like an email or a WhatsApp, or they will ask me in advance, can I call or something like that. So I was feeling fine. So I spoke the person and I said, how are you and all. She said, it is nice. I wanted to know how much money I have it in the portfolio, but I called you to thank you. So I said, why are you calling me so early for thanking? And I don't wanted to name the company, but the husband is working in the very, very good company, which is a PR company, top two in the India, heading the firm quite a lot, earning quite well. And I spoke with the husband maybe around 3 years, if I'm not wrong, 3 or 4 years back. And he says, Rachna, I don't worry and I don't believe it in savings or earnings or something. He says, I earn money quite a lot and I spend quite a lot because I like to enjoy it. So I said, that's nice. So sometimes that value doesn't comes even if I say or something. I said, fair enough, it's good enough. And he said no, because he is a very good fan of few English bands. So he says, you know that if that band is performing in Australia, I fly to Australia and I hear that band. I said, that's so good, you are doing with the passion. So I didn't say anything and I just kept quiet. And the wife is my customer and she's been investing and asked. So she called me and she says, Rachna, I wanted to thank you because whatever we are surviving for last 1 year is thanks to you. So I said, what happened suddenly? So she says, no, I wanted to know that my husband didn't have a job for almost 18 months. And what happens to me also, it didn't work well. So of course, I knew that they were taking our money out. We survived because of you enforcing me to do the SIP and the savings. And that saving has made us last 18 months with the same lifestyle. And that time, whenever somebody customer calls me like that, and that made me to enforce my own thought always, that this is not a business of money. Anyway, we get on an average revenue of 1% or whatever it is. My intention is we are much more obliged to the people to make sure they achieve their financial goal. They are achieving their time of emergency. That happiness give us is too much. And that made us to always say that, yes, I don't mind sometimes to push somebody to say that you invest. And that's made me keep asking a lot of customer now, last 1 year you have not able to spend so much, why don't you invest? Because that is the only time when I start feeling that I do have a commitment over my own customers to make sure that they keep it a good investment in time of crisis, they don't have any issues. So this is the time which I am trying to do for a retirement corpus, which is a very, very good peace of mind. Just before this call, I had a customer call, and he says, Rachna, he got a new offer, and he says, Rachna, I am little worried to take an offer. And I said, why you are worried? So he says, no, because in case my new company is not doing good, how I will pay the EMI? Okay. So there is a fear and the risk. So how to make sure that your alternative income, your regular incomes are being taken care of and you achieve the goals was today's topic. And as I have been telling every time, some of them are repeat. I'm not sure how many of you have heard me previously. Most of the time, me and Anil is CEO and founder of Right Horizons, Good, Bad, Ugly, my husband also. So most of the time, we always think whatever we preach to others, even it's our kids or an employee or the customers, we should apply ourselves. And that's what we both have done it. We crossed 45 2 years back, and from last 45 years, because that was the only plan available when we were 21 and 22 started working, to have the retirement plan. And we both started getting an alternative income from 45. So we don't have to worry about that if I don't have today or tomorrow my job or a work, that how I will survive and how my kids' education will work, because that has been taken care of. That gives a financial freedom in your mind. So how and what and why of a retirement planning is very important. So most of the time when we take care of a retirement planning process and on options, I have noticed this very common question, okay? Because I go for a lot of customers call, I go for most of the time, I have been going in corporates and all, and this is retirement is so far, Rachna. Why you're talking about retirement plan? I have not even started earning and all this stuff. And when I go and meet 30, 35 years old people, and they say, Rachna, why you didn't meet me before? If you must have met me before, no, we must have started. Now I don't have enough time. So what is a retirement? The retirement is not that what we used to think previously in our parents' time, ki okay, we will have after 60 sit at home and watch TV with a nice cup of tea and coffee, and I have done it. Retirement to us is do what you like to do, but without having in a mind that I need a financial or a salary to run the house. That is a retirement planning. So anybody who comes to me first to talk about Rachna, you do the retirement planning. My first question to them is always not that okay, we have to make the funds. Of course, you have to make alternative funds which will give you the income. But what you will do after retirement planning? Because you know that the average people started asking me retirement planning at 50 to 55 to retire. And if we think now on an average, we are living 80, 85, what I'm going to do 35 years? So I don't know how many of you know or not. Last 15 days, we all were COVID positive, and then last Saturday onwards, I started working. That was my first webinar after I missed 1st May. And I was trying to say that time, it's a simple thinking of what, and I was just thank God for the blessings and all, because we all were positive. So we full house was open for us. Okay. So we didn't have a room quarantine. And for me, first 3 days, because all other 4 people didn't have the result, I got the result first. So first 3 days I was in a single room, and I was telling, keeping yourself in the single room and just thinking in a retirement how it will work. And I start thinking that it is much tougher to, you don't have a problem with the money, you don't have a problem with the food, shelter or anything. How to make your mind occupied, very important. And that's what I've been telling everybody whom I know. Retirement planning is, base is of course to make sure that your lifestyle works, your monthly income, whatever you want, household is coming. But you make sure that what you are going to do retirement is one thing. So I think so 1 or 2 years back, we were writing a policy, retirement policy for right horizons. And there it says that we will have a 58 years old, a person will retire. And then I went to Anil and HR. I said, no, I don't want that as a part of it. Please write it as a one disclaimer clause that if the management want, they can continue to work. Because I said, if I am fit and fine, I wanted to work till my deathbed. Why I should not work for it? Because I love my job and I like the meeting people, making them to understand and achieve their goal. That's my life all about. So retirement is, please try to understand, you want to do what you like to do. It can be like I keep saying, okay, we wanted to do some charities. I wanted to go and meet people. I wanted to do some teaching. A lot of our customers have started going and wanted to utilize their knowledge for others. They are being part of a startups. They know that they cannot afford it, so they are just part of the startups to grow them, how to make them do better. So that's where we all have to realize that one is a retirement planning on financial, and another one is how we are trying to take care of it. This is the best story we can ever have it, which talks about Anil has made his mind. As I told you, we always do that because we both are the classmates. So I know him 8 years, means from the college. We both are the college classmates. So he told us that he wants to have his own company by 35 because he doesn't want it to work under somebody, or he doesn't want to work on the corporate life. And I remembered in 2000, I'm talking about 98, we all 94 batch. So that time, all of us, my parents, his parents, and everybody thinks that salary job is a better because you will get a constant salaries and other things like that. And we both, coincidentally, we both were doing good also. And of course, that was an all-time hit for the 90 side. So we all were doing very good and getting good salaries, high ESOPs, whatever you can think of. So when he says that I wanted to start my own, my both the side parents, my parents and his parents says, no, why when you're doing so good, why you wanted to start, and business is always having a lot of issues and all this stuff. So I remembered what he has done it, and that's what I want all of you to do it. He has given his time till 35, age 35, and till date, you will not believe it. I have never used my salary till date. I've been working, this is my 26th year. I've never used my salary. He has been saying that he will make sure that corpus will make sure that our lifestyle works the same way. And we will not have an issue even if I start with. So he planned, or we planned from the time we started working. And he wanted to retire at 35 when there was no insurance or pension plans which give the payout at 35. That time it was only allowed at 45, and that's why we started getting at 45 now. So we made sure that we have the corpus and alternative income, that if the things doesn't work well, 5 years we will not have an issue. So that's what he says, that I will make sure that I will run this company for 5 years. And if the 5 years it didn't come back, I'll go back to the salary. So let me make sure that I have a corpus for 5 years, which is not going to impact ourselves and the family and other things. And God grace, it went very well. So he retired, first of all, whatever corpus was needed, he was able to create 5 years earlier. So he retired at 30. So he started the company at 30, not at 35, what was the goal based. Second thing is, because it went well, so at 5 years, instead of he quitting and going back to the job, it went other way around. I quit the job and joined him. So from last 12 or 13 years, I'm been in a Right Horizons. Of course, it's always easy. People keep saying I'm being an IT person, how I went. So I always tease and tell people, see, when you're his husband's company, no, you don't need an interview and you get a director. So I was one of those people, lucky person, that I didn't have to write the interview or do, and you get the major stakeholding in the company also. So in that's a joke apart, but I'm trying to say that this is what I want all of you to do. So for him, I'm not saying that he doesn't work, but he likes his passion to work. Now he's driving this company and he's love, and I think so he may work more than 14 to 15 hours, but he loves working that. So you do what you like to do. So similarly, I want all of you to start thinking when you want to retire. You don't have to worry that, okay, if I want to retire, as on today, my household income is around, expenses around 40 or 50K. How to build that 50K approximately when I retire, then I don't have to worry what I'm going to do. So this holiday plans and other things, people have been saying that, okay, if I retire, what we will do it? Is it I have enough salaries or not? Salaries or not salaries are the mindset. As long as you're getting through interest, your pension, your annuity in your bank, it's good enough. We have to realize how we are going to do. So today we were in the breakfast time, we were having a chit chat and finding it out. And I said the things are moving different. So a lot of people nowadays in the retirement, they wanted to go to their native place or the place where it is not so crowded. And they're saying, Rachna, my household income is required only half of them or 2/3 of that. So we have to not necessarily change the lifestyle. Make sure with the same lifestyle, how I can create the corpus is what I'm going to do. But the statistics are not so great what we think so. At least I know in Bangalore, being IT driven, our all friends, family are Wipro, Infosys, I worked 15 years, both of the places. So we feel that, okay, people have good salaries and they're doing, but overall, if you see, it is very difficult. So I think so. I'm not sure you all have got this WhatsApp, what you call one infographic came. Even though I am totally off with the WhatsApp and social media, I have been only on family and the social, our office business WhatsApp group. Otherwise, I'm not. Somebody wrote it. Please make sure that all the 3 crore people who are the taxpayer get it the vaccine first, because if they don't pay the tax, then how the country will get the money? So it is really sad because we are only 3 crore people who pay the tax. So similarly, those people may be having PF, PPF and retirement fund, but the other has to create. So, and that amount is also not so good. But if you have noticed this last few days, PF people have made it as a mandatory optional at 1800. So a lot of people wanted a in-hand salary very high and they started taking only 1800. At least before I always used to tell people, at least 12% is going as an investment for a people, even it's in PF or PPF or whatever. But now that option is also not there. So only 12% of Indian force is covered under pension system. It's a very, very different part. So you will realize it previously, people were working into the government sector and like a banks and other things. So people used to get pension and that was working well. But now after 2009, it is not. So we have to make sure that sometime the deferred income is much, much more valued. So I keep teasing my dad quite a lot. My dad is an ex-army person and he gets around lakh plus pension. And I say to my dad that you never earn so much, but your pension is much more and you never realize it. That's a fact of it. So we don't realize that deferred payment is much, much more important than the one-time payment. We may be getting a good salary, but I'm sure we will not get the equivalent of 1 lakh of pension. So very, very difficult. And that's where we have to make sure that we do this planning of retirement planning, what I'm talking about. So we have 7 out of 10 Indian expect. This is the another thing which I keep telling people, that how to make sure that how we will be independent. So this is the question sometime my son asked, Mama, why like a Nani, Dadi and other people, they live. So I said those time there was a very, inner mindset was very clear that my son will take care of us. And I'm not saying that something is wrong. And I also believe that this is each parent's thing that they will take it up. But if you see our generation, because we have seen us, so we also believe our generation, because most of us have been traveling quite a lot, or we have been working this not same place where the parents are. So similarly, we can expect the same thing now also, that our kids may go abroad or go some other city where they're working. We may not be in the same place. So we have to be independent in our retirement. Okay, so that's another question I keep saying people, that we please make sure that in our mind, we should not be dependent. Only 18% of investors think that retirement is a priority. That's another question, but I think so last 1 year, I can say the goals have been changed. People are thinking retirement is highest, because if you noticed it, last few times, like if for an education, people can take an education loan, but for the retirement, there is no retirement loan. And I have tried twice or thrice with some other people. Reverse mortgage is also not so common as on today in India. Maybe after that comes retirement also will have a little ease on at least. So people can do a reverse mortgage and other things. Otherwise, you think about it, a serious investor comes normally at 30 to 35. And that time only they started having the kids education, vacation, your EMIs are there. And by 50, they says, Rachna, I wanted to retire. So you have only 15 years of the investments. Okay. But on an average, if I take till 85, it means that 35 years of a retirement age. You are saving only for 15 years, but your retirement is for 35 years. You can think of how much you need to save. And that is the reason I keep enforcing people. Even we are trying to do Right Horizon Next Generation as we call Next Gen, and I keep telling that we don't realize it. Start small, even $1,000, and all these kids, even in college, they spend more than $1,000. Save 1,000 because it's not the money. The discipline will take you to the next level. The discipline is very important to have the investment for the long term. So 76% of the working age people expect comfortable retirement, but only 33 are actually putting the money aside. So when we ask them, why don't you do for retirement planning or somebody? So they'll say, no, Rachna, I'm doing PF. That is more than enough. But sometimes our aspirations are much higher than what we want. So after 1,800 rupees coming into the PF, I think so that is also becoming a drastically different. At least our age, all of us have 12% of employer and 12% of ours, which is creating a good corpus also. So that's another thing. You all have to make sure that make a different value system for yourself, which says that irrespective of whatever happened, I will save this much of money. Sometimes it made me to think very differently, and I sometimes get scared also the next generation, but I believe the history will repeat and next to next generation will be good, because what happened, we have not seen our parents doing so good. Even though I can say the happiness and other things was good because there's not much of digitalization. So we all have earned enough, but we all saved enough. But the next generation, what is happening, because they have seen all of us are being like a golden spoon kind of it. So they don't have the value system of the money. And they spend sometimes when in our house we have a rule like a once in a week we can have order the food outside. And when my son will say, okay, we will order a pizza. And I said, okay, I have no issues. And when the pizza comes and I said, how much is the pizza? So he'll say around something around 800, 900, some value he'll say. And I will ask him the same thing that, do you know somebody's one full day salary is 900 bucks? And we have just spent it in a one single meal. We don't realize that importance, that how we can have to make sure that we save that money. So I will just do it. Please tell me if you are able to hear.
We plan and save for all our goals. But what about retirement? 92.6% of working population in India is not covered under any formal pension system. Earning age is reduced due to increasing focus on higher education and desire to retire early. Life expectancy is increasing, and so as medical expenses. This makes the retirement planning the most crucial financial goal. Combination of SIP and SWP of mutual funds can help you to create your own retirement plan. Let's see how. If you start investing rupees 5,000 monthly at the age of 25 through an SIP in equity mutual fund, your retirement corpus would be rupees 1.54 crores. You can switch it to debt mutual fund and start an SWP. With expected return of 6% CAGR, your monthly withdrawal through SWP would be rupees 77,024. When you want to stop receiving it, you can also withdraw the entire corpus. Key to create your own pension-like monthly cash flow is to start early. If you delay your investment by even 1 year, your retirement corpus would be 1.36 crore and monthly withdrawal amount through SWP will reduce to rupees 68,486 monthly. To receive fixed monthly cash flow after retirement, start planning for your retirement with the help of SIP and SWP now. Mutual fund investments are subject to...
So this is what we always try to see, that most of the time how the early saving for a retirement makes a lot of difference. Previously, I can say that people used to say that I have an FDs, and that time FDs and other used to give 18-12% returns, and they were so happy. If you think a lot of people says, okay, Rachna, I can have one additional house and the rents will take care of it. But now, if you see, people don't have the second house. For second house, also they have to take an EMI. And even if I take the rental, which is I can say retail rental or non-commercial rental, it is only 2 to 3% of yield. So there is no much big thing. People are going out of a fixed asset. So what is another way is just try to do a power of compounding, and that's where it's trying to say here is, which I have another video which I'm going to do it after some time, that how even the investments are going to be the similar or more, but the power of compounding is going to take care when you start early. The first thing, that's another thing which I have learned from my dad when I had a first job in 94, and I asked him what to do. Of course, you wanted to spend money for the party or giving a gifts and all the stuff, but he told me the same thing, and which I followed much rigorously till date, or maybe much more. As I told you, because I don't spend money on household or anything of my own. What he told me, anytime you have your in-hand salary, make sure your 25% of that you save. I remember my first salary was, if I'm not wrong, it's 1800 or 2000 bucks. So he says, because 1800 will become 18,000, 18,000 will become 2 crore, 2 lakhs or whatever. But if you do investment of like a 5,000, 5,000 is too much when you're earning 20,000. But 5,000 is too less when you're earning 2 lakhs. So always make sure your investments are linked to the percentage of your income, not as an absolute. And that is the one of the reason I'm trying to tell people that make sure you have the investments to link to your retirement and other goals in the percentage wise. And we need a retirement because we are not so good in a retirement system in India. These are the few part of it. So I'm going to take it a little faster on because the process is a little longer. We don't have a social security. Pension and gratuity is not enough for making sure our post part of it. Inflation is always the biggest thing. We never realize it. And your monthly income today or expense today is always going with additional zero if you do adding of the inflation. So if you see the inflation, PPF and others are been reducing, and there is not so far where we will see even PPF rates are going to 6.4 because they did it and then they reverted back on 31st of March. But you should not forget one more thing. That's another thing I've been trying to tell people is investment on inflation is one thing. What about our lifestyle index? Our lifestyle index is much more bigger, because I don't think so any one of us must have done the restaurant and fine dining before and all this stuff. We don't think so. We have gone with the international brands, taking a lot more things than what. So on that day, my daughter is still in the degree second year, and I was looking at her. Almost all friends have the iPhone and Apple data gadgets, and I was telling how come they have so much and all. No, their parents and other ones has given, and I was very surprised to know that the standard of living of the people and expectation of the kids and others have gone so high. Even now also, I will always tell to Anil, I'm not good in online, so I'll ask him if my phone is not okay. You give it to me something, because my phone is to just to call and WhatsApp to check. I don't want any other data on. I don't know how to use it. So even 10 to 12,000 bucks is okay, but the things of lifestyle into the next generation and people have gone much high. You will surprised to know, before when we used to do the financial planning, vacation was not as must. People say, okay, if I'm able to achieve, then I'll go for a vacation. Now things has changed so much. People comes and tell me, no, Rachna, vacation is a top priority. Because when I'm old, I don't know how to do. And most of the people want a vacation for 15 to 1 month, which is around 5 to 10 lakhs in a year. Okay. So lifestyle has changed so much. So you need to make sure when you are taking care, how to make sure not only inflation, but your lifestyle also. And retirement planning is becoming much more important part, because the previous generation versus us have a totally different lifestyles coming. Like I can say previously it was a simple living, okay, and now the lifestyle of things has gone very high. You can see, like yesterday I was going through another person and they are constructing the house, and I said, how's the things going on? And they says, yeah, we have made the last top floor only as a home theater, which is for 30 people. And I told, why you have to get for a theater? Full has come here, 30 people, why you need it? This thing, no, we can have the parties and other things. And I was very surprised that people have gone into that league. So one full floor has been making as a home theater, which is with the isolation of the sound and other things and all this. So a lot more people have started spending time, money, and energy on lifestyle. Our nuclear family is another part of it. We have a longevity more than 85 years, much more, because our medical systems are doing so good. Our interests are going low. Nowadays, you will surprised to know the FD with the interest, if I minus it, I will be at 3.5 to 4%, which is same as some of the companies as a SB account. So that is the way it has been happening. So we need to take care of all these while doing retirement planning. The pillars of the retirement planning is very important. First is the family, no doubt. Retirement money comes or not, but you should always feel happy that you are with the family and they are supporting you. Second most is finances. Third, as I told you, we should have a freedom of living and generating our things. How to manage the risk for creating. So there is a retirement plan is always two types, which next Saturday I'm going to take it post retirement. This what I'm doing now, it's a retirement planning. Retirement planning is how to create a corpus when I'm trying to retire. So for example, I am 47 and I want to retire at 60. So I have to create the corpus till 60. So after 60, how I have to implement and make sure that I get it as a best tax efficient money per month is another training which I'm going to do it for the next Saturday. But now I'm trying to say for next 13 years, how much per month I should save so I can create it. How I'm ready. That last month, same webinar. I think so last week itself. I got a call from one person from Delhi, and he's 64, if I'm not wrong. And he said, Rachna, I wanted to do investment from you, and I know you can do it. And I was very surprised. I have never known him much, so how he's so confident. But anyway, I spoke with him and I said, yes, I will try my best, because that's what my thought is to how to make people achieve their goals. Then he said, Rachna, I am some things I'm not comfortable. So I told him, more than you, I will never tell somebody to invest if you're not comfortable with. You have to have a readiness. You should have an awareness. Instead of telling somebody keep coming and saying that, okay, you somebody missell it, I never buy that type, because you can trust anybody, there's no doubt, but you have a person called Google who can tell you a nitty gritty. Otherwise, ask that same person that I'm not able to understand this product, how to do it. So you should be ready and understanding what and how they're doing. Of course, the difference between you and us, we will be trying to take care of known risk, all the things, but unknown risk, nobody knows. So that some certain part is there, but otherwise, that readiness, awareness, you all also should be taken care. And of course, risk is related to return. This talks about 5 steps of creating a retirement corpus. As I have been talking from that time, very important, simple and systematic. There is nothing rocket science difference. Please be systematic. Somebody called yesterday to Anil and says that I feel that COVID will continue. Can I put it in a bank? This is the same type we got it in the last March, okay? And 2 people. So the difference between, I can say, advisor and yourself is only the emotions. We try not to take the calls on emotions. And this is the one thing which I have been realizing. it's not that, of course, if you are very well versed and you have a passion to read and do it and you can do it yourself, that's the best thing. Otherwise, the advisor help only there. We are just trying to tell people that this is the data driven. History repeats, the market repeats, everything have the data. So don't involve the emotions. And this is what I have learned when we, in 2001, we got our new car, which is new house, and we got the baby first time, came in that new car. And then I was not wanted to sell that car because it is so much emotionally attached to us. And then after, normally we sell after 3 or 4 years, and he said, okay, we will buy the another one. And I said, no, we'll not buy, we'll keep it. And Anil said the same thing. He said, don't take any personal finance decision on emotions. If you keep it this, it will become like a kabadiwala will also not will take. So it's like that. So mostly the difference between you and us. This is another example I have. One customer had an ESOPs. We gave the trigger, and that person says, no, Rachna, I think so it will do up good and good. And I said, no, it is okay. I understand even if it is does good, but it's better to diversify the risk. And he got little carried away with that. And now it was, if I'm not wrong, it was $188 when we gave the trigger, and it went to $131. And then he came back to us, Rachna, can I sell now? It is not going up for last 2 years. And I told the same thing. I can understand. We can try to wait now for sometimes before we take the trigger. So sometimes don't involve your emotions. Be simple, systematic, and diversify asset allocation good. That is the way you create the corpus. I always says nobody is God. Everybody have their own ways. The difference between you and us is we are working 24/7 on those, so we will know a little bit more better. We have the connection with the fund managers, so we go listen, talk to them, hear to them, because nobody drives the car from the rear mirror. You have to understand that. Everybody, if somebody asks how you do this investment, I go to the portal, I see the returns and the ranking. But it's really written very clearly. Whenever we have the rank, it is written on the past investments. And past investments are not equal to the future. Nobody try to understand that. The fund manager is like a driver of the car, and the driver of the car will never go with the rear mirror. I'm sure all of us who must be driving, and we never use. If I use rear mirror is only 2 times. Somebody is honking me so much, so I will see who is the person who is honking so much when there is so much of traffic. Or second time is when I am trying to take over. Otherwise, I will never ever use a rear mirror. Similarly, please, when you are doing investment or something, don't just look the past return. You have to understand what is a fundamental style of that fund manager, what fund manager's views is about the future. If it is matching yours, fair enough, and go ahead. So we should know what is a time and what if analysis. So what is my plan B and plan C? So similarly, as I told you before this call, I had another customer call, and he says, Rachna, if I'm doing this, my kids' education may be having. So I said, if this is the worst case scenario, we will make sure we will break these 3 things and we will not get impacted. But that is only 2% chances. 98% chances it may not happen. Please go ahead. So how much possible, try to have a what if analysis for creating the corpus time. Very important whenever we try to do the process, as I showed before, take care of mindsets are the biggest issues when we try to do some simple things. Because I was going through another story of, I keep hearing those story from RJs and other places. So he was telling that mind has like 2 horses, one is positive and one is negative. And which horse win the race? It's normally the person who has been well fed. So similarly, when what happens, well fed is in a mind is what are the news and beliefs we are being feeding. So if I'm being feeding only negative news, I'll feel more negative. If I'm feeling more positive, it's a positive. The mindset and behavior, it happened the same thing. When you hear so much about the positive or the market or something, that somebody says, no, Rachna, market will collapse, I better do it. So you have been hearing this so much. So you started believing and thinking that it may be negative. We have to realize you can see any data. It can be 30 years, 50 years of US or anything. Market has never given negative. But as long as you have stayed for a long term, and you have to make sure that you cannot invest on the equities when your goals are below 3 to 5 years, because market 5 years or 6 years may be negative. So we have to make sure that what are the things we need to work on, what are the different asset allocation and the I can say product you should use it. Make sure your long, small, short term and mid term is taken. Of course, retirement is a long term, so you should take a good equity exposure and do it across. Before the 3 years, 5 years, well, normally asset allocation, we keep changing debt and equity over the period. So when you are at taking a retirement, always try to do 100 minus your age is a debt part of it. Taking care of asset allocation, time, measure, and risk. This is another things I keep saying. Whenever you have a debt, try to see how we can have alternative income irrespective of anything coming, because equity will giving you a good returns, and the other debt funds, it can be bond or a debt or as a PF and PPF and others, will be giving you a lower return but the fixed returns. That's what we have to take care. So as I told you, first part here is simple, systematic is discipline. Without fail 200 times, I believe that this is the one core part of my life. I have learned from my dads and seeing army person, being and brought up in army life, how we can achieve anything. And there's no other better way other than Warren Buffett writing. Successful investing take time, discipline and the patience. No matter how great the talent and effort, something just takes time. You can't produce a baby in 1 month by getting a 9 woman pregnant. This is the another thing. When I was in the Wipro and Infosys, my boss used to tell that when we used to make proposal for TNM and FP, time and money and fixed bid, is to say that you make sure that you don't put so much team member and say that, okay, we will deliver. It will take its own time. So please make sure when you are doing, have a discipline. It may have, I remember 1.5 years back, even the SIP for 3 years was negative, but those all are at 30s now. So please make sure that your discipline continue. And the second best quote, which I always say is someone sitting in the shade today because someone planted the tree long time back. This is no second thought about it. A lot of us, we never realize it. Today, news came, we stays in Banagatta Road, that today in a metro, they are going to cut 604 trees. And I was talking in the breakfast time to Anil, I got, which is next to our house only, that metro station is coming. 604 trees are going to cut. Then he says, no, because that's a mandatory now. If they are cutting 604, they need to plant 3 times of those. And you can start thinking about that. Even we plant those, these are 10 to 20 years old trees. How long those will take to give that much of oxygen and the level. So that's another things we always try to see how we can sow now, and then we will have a seed and fruit little later. So this is the another thing which people do. So I'm trying to do that part of it.
Napoleon, a French emperor who conquered much of Europe in the early 19th century. One mistake that cost Napoleon Bonaparte in loss during the Battle of Waterloo was to delay the attack. The night before the battle, there was a rain, and his cavalry and infantry were tired. Napoleon was in dilemma whether to attack or to wait for 1 day. His delay in attacking made Persian army to reach the battleground to help Wellington of Waterloo to win the war against Napoleon. If Napoleon Bonaparte had marched an attack earlier in the morning, the Persian army would not have reached there at the battleground on time, and he would have won. Similarly, delays in putting your money to work through investments can eventually end up costing you a lot. We often tend to delay investing with very nice excuses. But have you ever thought, how much would it cost you? Let's find out. By starting an SIP of Rs 5,000 at the age of 25 for retirement can help you to create the wealth of Rs 2.81 crore at the age of 55 when you retire. But if you delay in decision of starting an SIP by 6 months only, you would create the wealth of Rs 2.62 crore. Just 6 months delay in starting an SIP can cost you 19 lakh rupees loss. To save yourself from the cost of delay, start investing now. Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks.
So I'll just do the calculator. So please tell me if you are able to see. Can somebody says that you are able to see?
Yes, ma'am. We are able to see.
So here is the calculator which talks about how much retirement fund I need to create by when. So here I'm trying to talk about myself, and here if I'm saying that if I need a house, this I have taken last week, the story of the person whom I met, I think so 4 weeks back. The person is actually very young, 42 years old, and she called me 3 weeks back that she lost the husband within a massive heart attack. And the good part, she says that Rachna, that he was having a good term cover, and I'm being not working, so it is very tough for me to continue and all the stuff. But because of that, in my house, everybody has taken a good term cover. So I said that's really good to see the importance. Sometimes we don't realize the importance of term cover. So she wanted to have 1 lakh rupees a month. So she's 42. She wants to continue now, and her longevity, if I'm not wrong, she has told 85. So let me unhide it. So she's taking till 43, and how much money she should have? The corpus she should have is 3.8 crores. Okay, as on today. If she doesn't have 3.8 crores, she won't be able to get 1 lakh equivalent from next January till 85 years. Okay. So I'm going to teach you two part here today, how the calculation is done. It's called real rate of return. Real rate of return is I'm expecting a 8% returns after taking care of the what you call post target. So this 10 returns is when we are creating the corpus. So 8% return is and 6% is inflation. So in your, I can say gut way, it is around 2%. The difference between return and inflation is a real rate of return. But if you see, we have a formula which says return minus inflation divided by 1 plus inflation percentage. So this is how I got 1.88. This is called real rate of return. It's in normal language we call RRR. And how much I need to have that corpus when I retire. So I'm just showing you this formula. I will send you this Excel. You have to just enter your data. So if you see how much is the return, the real rate of return was 1.88 divided by 12 because it's a monthly money you require. I have taken 85. 85 is a longevity. Longevity means that how long you are going to take a cash flow. If you think your parents and your in-laws, I'm saying that grandparents and other people have stayed much more than 85, you should write more than 85 minus the time of your retirement into 12. That many months pension or retirement you need. And today's value is 1,07,000. Okay. If I have this, I need 3.8 lakhs, which means that with creation of principal plus interest equivalent of 1 lakh, I will get it till 85 years. Of course, this is required how much lump sum yearly and all, because she's not working. So it is the same. Otherwise, when we do a detailed planning, we takes care of your PF, PPF, current investments and other things. And we try to see how we can build the corpus part of it. So let me try to do it like for me. I spend around 60,000. I am 47. I want to work till 60. So I may need approximation 4.7 crores when I am going to. So if I have investing SIP of 1.4 lakhs, which is true, it will be able to manage my retirement. Okay. So very important part. This is, I'm just trying to now summarize to make sure that we start doing that. Make sure that you have a good asset allocation, reduce the volatility with the longer term, help investment in only in the long term. Before this, I'm assuming you will have the good term cover and health cover, because this is, I'm talking about retirement. But overall, how to make care of the risk management is take a very good health cover and the term cover. And average stocks and bond investment, we have to make sure that anytime your post-tax, post-inflation return should be higher than zero. That you have to realize it, okay? So these are the two investment options. One is fixed and one is not fixed. Fixed means where your interest is fixed at the time of investment, which is a low returns, or you can say low risk. Low risk will normally give you around, I can say 4.5 to 6% returns. And non-fixed is why it is called variable or not fixed or equity driven. Because when you sell that product, then you realize what is the returns you get. You don't get the time of buying. Okay. So, and these things will do good only in the long run. So you have to realize when you say, I don't want to take risk, you are not even clearing the inflation. So you have and must have to take care of both. But in this scenario, which is non-fixed, works on the long term, this takes care of the short term. With this, I open, because I don't have a time now, cost of delay, I will try to do it as an Excel, I will send it to you. I open for any questions and queries. I got the question in one of the chat. Can you give a background of your firm and are you CFP? So we are Right Horizons is a 17 years old wealth management firm. Head office is in Bangalore. We have around 50 odd employees and maybe around 70 with the consultants. We work from Hyderabad, Chennai, Mumbai and Gurgaon. Of course, we are focusing more on our investment and advisory. So we do have our PMS license, we do have our SEBI registered license and the insurance broking license. Any other questions? So Gopinath has written, I think so the bank, so what is the value of money or something? It's written planning a world trip without thinking of bank balance. That's a very nice way of thinking. So everybody have the different ways. Yes, Surya, please let me know. How much should I invest to get retirement corpus at? So when you wanted to retire, Surya, I will do on spot now. So can you see my Excel?
No, ma'am, can't see.
So he says he is 38. Correct. I have. Can you repeat the question? I cannot see the scan now.
Ma'am, I'm 39 years old, ma'am. I just want to know,
39.
like, yes. I
And how
just
much
want to know.
monthly you want?
What, ma'am?
How much monthly you want?
Ma'am, actually, monthly I need 1 lakh rupees, ma'am.
1 lakh. Okay. And you wanted 58. Okay. So the monthly investment will be 1 lakh. If I'm assuming you don't have a past in investments.
Yes, ma'am.
But if you have PF, PPF, continuation one, this may reduce it. Okay.
Yeah.
Is it I answered your query? Otherwise, the other way is you were looking FV, future value, how much you should invest monthly. Divided by 12 into USA 58 minus 39 into 12 minus, I can say 60,000. I'm just trying to do R&D.
Ma'am, I have one question, ma'am. Can I ask you, ma'am?
So yeah. So I was just trying to say, because you asked how much it will take to create 2 crores. Okay. Yeah. So I'm just doing that. So it says that if I do, this is a simple formula, I am doing it. Future value, if I'm creating a 12% return divided by 12, because monthly you're doing, your retirement age minus current age into 12, because it's a 12 months we are investing. And if I invest 25,000 rupees per month,
okay,
that many number of years, you will get 2.5 crore at the time when you are 58. That's another question you have answered. Yeah. Tell me another question, Surya.
Ma'am, you know, like if I understand correctly, like what you told, right? Like you are telling me to invest like 25,000 rupees every month till actually 58 years to get that 1 lakh rupees, no, ma'am?
No. This is your question in the chat. How much I should invest to create a 2 crore when I'm retiring?
Yes, ma'am.
But if I do a 1 lakh, you required 1.75 per month.
No, ma'am. Actually,
yeah,
ma'am, actually, you are telling that I need to invest 1,75,000 per year, ma'am.
Yeah, per month it is. Because the time you require 1 lakh now is going to be 3.6 lakhs a month when you're retiring itself. So you can think of till 85 years, how much the value of 1 lakh will be. So you need to give that much money when you are older. So if I have 13 crore rupees when you are 58 years old, I will be able to give you equivalent. So word I use the word equivalent, not 1 lakh. Equivalent of 1 year. So I'll just give you a simple example of future value of 6%. Sorry. And let us say after 25 years minus, sorry. The total value of 1 lakh today will be at 4.3 lakhs after 25 years itself. So every year you can think of 6% is being increasing. So we have to make sure how to give the increased value.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. I understood, ma'am. Actually, I have one more question, ma'am. Can I ask you, ma'am?
Please, you can ask. And otherwise, if it is one more, we will take it offline. No?
Yeah, ma'am, if I, if I see the Excel sheet, no, ma'am, actually, so like, Like at the age of 58 years, like if I need to get actually, like 1 lakh rupees, like
You need
like you
58, 1 lakh, or you want 1 lakh as on today?
no, ma'am. I need 1 lakh like a pension, ma'am. Actually, that's all is my need.
Constant 1 lakh, huh?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
That will be for 48,000 monthly required, but this is also, I'm still doing the RRR. So
Yeah.
if you, but what happened, constant, the value is diminishing, because at 1 lakh, what is today's value, after 20 years may not be the same, Surya.
Got it, ma'am.
So
Got it.
most
Yeah.
of the time, all these people buy pension plans, and this is Rachna, I'll be able to take care. So let me tell my own personal thing. We both have started when we were 21, and we both are getting 30K each now as a pension plan. Of course, now we don't need it, so I'm reinvesting into the SIPs. But now 60K is okay. But after 4 or 5 years, that 60K may not be enough for running the full house. Correct? Pension plans gives you the fixed amount, but the corpus give you the returns much more. The worst part of pension plans are because these are taxable also. It's added to the income. So whenever you are planning, you make sure that you are getting inflation linked money post retirement. Okay. Any other questions we have? Otherwise, we can wind it, and I can just thank each and everybody for the weekend joining, and thank you for helping us to keep driving. Please help us to give your feedback on what all types of questions and what type of webinars you want. We are happy to help you anytime.
Ma'am, there's this one question from Madhusudhan. Is it
Okay.
really practical assuming 12% CAGR year on year as growth? That's my doubt, as there could be any bad years also, correct?
So most of the time I am talking about my personal more than the data level. I have been doing investment from 1997 onwards, I think so. My XIRR as of today is 17 plus, but I always believe 12 is a good enough, because even if you take the Sensex and the Nifty for 10 to 20 years or 30 years, you will find the XIRR of 12 to 14%. So 12 to 14% is good. But what I have noticed with even most of our customer must be getting more than 12 to 14%. But what I have noticed it, most of the people don't get it 12 to 14 because they stopped in middle. They redeem in middle without the goals. And they get into the issues of fear and greed. If you tell me any customer, even yourself, if you are doing an SIP, because I am doing SIP more than 20, 22 years plus or 25 years, I have not noticed this. But if you find anybody not able to get that, then I have to find it out, because I have never seen last 12 years or in my friend circles whoever been investing for 25 years. I have not find anybody getting less than 12% if they stayed long for that many years. What is the difference between debt and equity? How much should the allocation? Debt and equity, you can see the difference between is like a low risk versus high returns or high risk. Low risk is give you around, low risk is what, like your bank FDs, MIS, GPO, NSC, PF, PPF, insurance. Those are the low risk, which comes under debt product. Gold. Equity is shares. So most of the time, equity gives a good return. So you can think of in your mind whom you think has financially good corpus. You will find most of the people who have a good investments and good corpus. You can think of in your mind, or you can tell me, almost all will be having equity of their own company, or they are holding the shares, stocks. Okay. And they're holding the stocks for the long. It can be anybody. You can say Azim Premji or NRN or Rakesh Jhunjhunwala or whoever you can think of. People, even Ambani's and all, Mukesh Ambani, they have their own equity of their companies. So what normally is the thumb rule? 100 minus your age. Okay. You have to make sure that it's been equity and the debt. So if your age is around 40, so 40 you should keep it in a debt funds. 60, you can keep it in a equity. I was informed very late about this webinar. I request to provide meeting details in advance. Yes, thank you, Giridhar. I will make sure we do that. This was supposed to be only for the people who missed last week, but I'm so sorry about that. We will make sure that happens. If you have any queries, please come. I will try to do one-to-one with you. Yes, we will try to take care with the recording, Jaydeep. Jay is asking, is it NPS is a good tool? Yes, NPS is a good tool because it's giving you tax benefit on the same year. So you are, if you are in 30% bracket, you are getting 30% returns indirectly, you can say this year itself. Okay. So because you are able to invest over and above the ATC. So it's always a good to have it in NPS. Any other questions? So what is your take on ULIP? ULIP, son, young kids, age at risk or mortality. What is the question, Madhusudan? Can you repeat if you don't mind? What your take on ULIP? Jaydeep, we can help you to the NPS. Please get in touch. You can do NPS in all the bigger banks. If you want, you can have that, okay? Madhusudan, I'm not sure the question, but I think so you are asking what is my take on as ULIPs on a youngster or for a kid. Of course, ULIPs are good. ULIPs are being very good for a longer term because they takes a higher admin charge in first few years. So normally people say that, okay, ULIP you pay only 5 years and that's why they think that my corpus is not creating. It is always a very good thing. So only thing is this year onward, it is not creating so good because above 2.5 lakhs, they have also made it as a taxable. So because they wanted to go into on par with SIPs. But still, if your premiums are below 2.5 lakhs, of course, it is good enough to continue for a long term. So I help people to make sure to understand the concept. If you want any queries and question, I'll be happy to do that. My number is, I think so, it is there in the last slide of this, but I can still write it, 98453997880. You can WhatsApp me. I'm good in WhatsApp, so we can fix the time and I can help you out. Have a wonderful weekend. Have a good time. Stay safe and stay healthy and enjoy yourself. So don't worry about what's happening. Just enjoy. Thank you.